This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Steven Jarvis and Friends podcast featuring myself and Mark Bensett Jr. Also, a shout out to the podcast of the month, the 10 Cent Beer Night podcast. They've been doing really good. Everyone at the Deluxe Edition Network has been doing really good. I told myself I wouldn't screw that up, but I did. Today, me and Mark are doing our top 10 favorite action and martial arts movies. So, Mark, I'll let you start with number 10.
No. Hold on. I'm hoping that everybody had a good Christmas. Around my house, I got some good new toys, which I was happy about. My loving wife, got me this, which I'm going to show you if you can see it good. It's a signed Jason. I got 4 of these signed, and I'm giving one to Steven. I got a free cat too, I want a free cat. Which if anybody ever follows me on Facebook, this cat came to me, all almost all dead, and well, now she's good. Her name's Luca. But no, you're starting first.
Okay. To start this off, I would say my number 10 action / martial arts movie would have to probably be God, that's a good one.
See, here's the problem. He never writes them down.
Oh, it doesn't matter if I write them down or not, because then I'll be sitting here doodling being like, oh no, I gotta change that ranking and all that. My top 10 one, I would have to say probably is the 36 Chambers of Shaolin, I think it's called. It was back during the golden era of martial arts cinema, and really, really underrated movie. So I would say that's probably my number 10.
Okay, my number 10 is it's an interesting one because it was back when I was a kid. It's called No Retreat, No Surrender. It was Jean-Claude Van Damme's first movie. He was a bad guy.
Wasn't he Russian in that one too?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He was a dick. He beat up his dad. He beat up the boy's dad, and the boy kept getting in fights and losing. So he wanted to. He kept wishing for Bruce Lee. He went to his grave and all that, and wished for Bruce Lee to come and help him. And well, he imagined Bruce Lee helping him, and eventually he came, and the guy was fighting again, and he finally jumps in the ring and beats the hell out of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that is a good one. Number 9. Good Lord, number 9 for this. I'm gonna have to go with The One. Jet Li in The One. Has a I think that was Jason Statham's first movie too. But it was really cool to show off Jet Li and how amazing his skill was in the martial arts. Of course, the martial arts golden age is probably past a long time ago, because you had Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Jeff Speakman, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah. Chuck Norris, you had a lot of them. And with The One, it was also the first one to feature having 2 Jet Lis at the same time, one being a good one being a bad one, and that would have been a hard thing to have to do.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You're number 9.
Well, let's stick with the Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm going with Bloodsport.
Ooh, at number 9. But
Yeah,
this is still a great movie, though.
it is. I love it. It was one of his. I think it was one of his ones that he actually. I believe he spoke. The first one he spoke English in, wasn't it?
Probably.
But it was the one that I know that put him more on the market. Was that one? It was, to me. It was one of those ones that, yeah, fighting. Kicking ass. And almost like in all of his movies, there's always the bad guy and there's a good guy, and he's fighting, and somebody gets hurt, and he finishes the tournament just for the guy, and
Yeah. Number 8. I would have to go with, and I'll go Jean-Claude Van Damme, Replicant, it was called. And in that one, I do believe that it was another one of those good Jean-Claude Van Dammes and a bad Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were
because
brothers.
the bad one. No, you're thinking of a different Jean-Claude Van Damme one. Replicant is where
Oh, okay,
they
yep.
clone him because when he first shows up, he's a serial killer. Well, they clone him so that they can follow the clone to see what
Can
the
you grab me a soda,
killer's
please?
one is gonna be.
Grab me a soda, if you're lucky.
And I just think that was pretty cool that they did that with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And that I think that one was near his peak as a martial arts action star. But yeah, that's my number 8.
Well, see, we never specify what type of action we were going with totally. So here's where I sort of veer off from karate and stuff, and I went with an actual action movie of the point of I went with Transformers because we were talking about action, and I'm not talking about the sequels or anything else. I like the first. I like the franchise. I
Michael
always
Bay
have.
pimped that fucking franchise out.
But he well, Hillsborough is doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
that's what they got the Beast Wars about now too.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, it looks good. But the first one, I mean, you had a lot of action in it, and
I still don't believe Shia LaBeouf would have any chance in real life with Megan Fox. Just saying.
hell, at that time I liked her.
Oh, no, I'm not saying anything bad about her. I'm just saying there's no way in hell anyone would believe that.
I wish she would have went with somebody else than Machine Gun Kelly. But anyways, I mean, to have the original Optimus Prime's voice in that one, it worked out perfect too.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
I'm going to go with my number 7. Sorry to cut you off, Mark, but my number 7, Cobra. A great Sylvester Stallone movie that wasn't Rocky, wasn't Rambo, wasn't over the top where, he tries to be a
I love Over
arm
the Top,
wrestler.
though. I love that one.
Yeah. And it's just cool watching that movie. And I think Brian Michael Thomas is the killer in that one. I think that's his name. He was also in Terminator as one of the first ones to get killed by the Terminator when Bill Paxton and his gang, as they called them in that movie, say, "Hey, is it laundry day? No clothes?" And
Right.
so, yeah, Cobra's my number 7, and just the way that Sylvester Stallone was such a badass in that movie was pretty cool. That car was amazing.
Have you ever watched Snake Eyes?
No,
You
but
should.
I've heard that's the one with Nicolas Cage, right?
No, not that one. It's the one to do with GI Joe. It's called Snake Eyes.
Okay.
That is my next pick.
Your number 7.
It's the origin of Snake Eyes.
I watched the first GI Joe movie they made, and it's just like I don't get why they put Channing Tatum in there. I don't.
They wanted to name somebody named. What are you doing? They
Well,
wanted.
I understand that, but you had a lot of action stars that could have done it.
Well, he also wanted he wanted to try something new, and I mean he didn't do that bad of a job. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
Um, but with Snake Eyes, that one it it told the good origin story of that of how Snake Eyes became him, and I can't if they actually make a second one, I can't wait.
Yeah. Number 6. Mark's probably gonna hate me for putting it this low, but I'm gonna have to go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action films.
Which ones? You going with the
Uh,
originals or you going
yeah,
with Michael Bay?
the originals. Fuck Michael Bay.
Now, the originals, I like the first two.
Yeah,
And
the samurai one I didn't.
yeah, I didn't care for them going back in time and stuff like that. Just having them at that point in time, having them do what they did, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't go wrong with how you did it, even though being in those suits as long as they did. Oh man, that's
So that would be my number 6.
my number 6 is Red Dawn.
Ooh, yes,
You got a lot of explosions. You got us versus
Russia or no?
Russia, Chinese. The first one's Russia and Chinese. The second one is uh
The second one's Chinese.
the
The
second one's
remake.
yeah. The first
Yeah.
one, yeah. Just knowing that the kids could, you know, do that stuff to kill a complete or somewhat of a complete army and still be able to maintain their life in the mountains, and you can't go wrong.
God damn, that's a good pick. Yeah, that movie was the
Well, I even
quintessential.
I like the remake too. I, it was different. I like the take of how they did it a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't like in remakes. I don't like them to be completely the same.
Well, at when once the remake came out, I mean, U.S. and China relationship is not very good, and we're not gonna get into politics, but and Red Dawn wasn't really a political movie. It's just that when you look back on it, we really thought that's what was going to happen. If we were
Right.
going to get invaded by Russia, they would have not just Russia, but I think it was also Ecuador that was also involved in the first one too. It's been so long since I seen it, but they had another one, and the beginning of that where it says NATO is gone,
Right.
we stand alone. Like as soon as you see that on the screen, it's like, oh my god.
I like the fact that it didn't really have a big name cast
No, it
to
had the
get
Brat Pack.
right. Well,
Some of them.
sort of. Yeah. But having Patrick Swayze, having
Charlie Sheen.
Thomas C. Howell, having no, not Thomas C. Howell. Yeah, Thomas C.
Yeah.
Howell, having
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen, uh,
Jennifer Grey.
yeah, just them alone was enough. And then you look at it, and you're like, well, most of those were in, Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the one kid that was from the Outsiders that was a Soch, and the rest were greasers. I mean, come on, it was quite interesting.
Yeah. The feud between Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey from that movie would also go into Dirty Dancing, but that'll be a topic for another time because that's a good topic.
Yeah.
So now we're on 5.
5.
5. Oof. Red Dawn. Red Dawn was a very good one at 6. Number 5, I'm gonna go with, and these ones are kind of had something in my throat. But my number 5 pick for number 5 is a series again. They're kind of not well known, but the Billy Jack series. Billy Jack is introduced to us in a movie called The Born Losers. Tom Laughlin plays Billy Jack, and he pretty much made these movies by himself. Back when independent filmmaking was still a big thing, he sold it. It was a big surprise hit. And then after the Born Losers, then there was Billy Jack, the second movie. Then there was, what was it? Billy Jack Goes to Trial, and then Billy Jack Goes to Washington. And Billy Jack Goes to Trial, which I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but Billy Jack Goes to Trial pretty much deals with the Vietnam conflict and what had arose from that, with people being accused of treason and not doing their job over there and all that. And it also deals with like the massacres that were happening on college campuses. They even have something like that in that movie. And Billy Jack Goes to Washington, which was the fourth and final one. I mean, he should have probably stopped at 3, but at 4 he wanted to show how corrupt politicians could be, and that's why he made that movie. So that is my pick for number 5.
See, I did have I did move one so I can finally figure out what my number 1 was going to be.
See?
Lethal Weapon's my number 5.
Oof. That's too low. Well,
Yeah.
no, 5. Well, it's in the top 5. It's in the top 5. Yeah.
The top 5 can be discussed on
Yep.
any one.
Yeah.
I can put them at 1. I can put them at 5. I did actually have them actually down at 7 at first.
Yeah.
And I moved them.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon was ahead of its time back in the day.
I still think that it could be. I don't think it could still be reworked today though, because some of the stuff that is done in that, I don't think could be done.
I don't think they should remake it. I think they should just do Lethal Weapon 5 and then be done with it.
And then get old in their crutch, in their.
Well, that's like Mel Gibson said when they asked him about it. They're like, well, now that you're directing it, are you guys going to be badasses like you were? And he's like, he even told the interviewer, he's like, do you know how old we are? He's like,
I can still see him doing badass shit in there. Come on, sitting on the toilet, almost getting blown up. The nail gun. How many times did they have cop cars are chases and wrecks, and how much money did they cost? I mean, if it wasn't for Lethal Weapon, we would not have Bad Boys.
Yeah. And then now my number 4, and this is another gem that I would probably put in another topic that we're going to talk about, but Vanishing Point, the original. With Barry Newman in it, who plays a car salesman that's taking a white 1970 Dodge Challenger. I think it was an RT. And he has to bring it to San Francisco by, I think it's Monday. Well, he has he makes a bet with his drug dealer saying that, hey, I bet you I can make it before then. And they're like, okay, well, if you do, then the next thing is on the house. So he takes speed to keep himself awake and all that. And the ending is still one of the greatest endings, where he crashes into 2 bulldozers at the end. And it's symbolic, saying that, even though the cops were there trying to get him, that he would kill himself just to be free and to remain free.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that.
Oh, I love that movie. The only thing is, it's never on streaming services.
I can find it.
Oh, trust me, I've looked. I pretty much looked on Amazon. I looked on that movie thing that I use.
What do you stream with?
Peacock.
No, I mean, what device?
Oh, my Xbox.
Just your Xbox? Okay.
Xbox,
That-
computer, TV.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder, but I'll send you a link to something that you can stream actual movies.
I know. I'll probably end up buying it because I know I want to buy a copy for my dad. Because my dad showed me that film, and oh man, at the end when he fucks up that car and pretty much commits suicide, it's just like, oh god. And I could put, even at number 4, I could put a few more, and I will. Crazy Mary, or Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, with Peter Fonda and Susan.
Yeah, you're going back way far on that one.
Another great ending for a movie. The original Gone 60 Seconds. There's so many great ones, and we'll talk about like independent films another day. But yeah, those are my number 4. Vanishing Point would be Vanishing Point and the original Gone 60 Seconds probably were the 2 best road chase movies out there.
Okay, my number 4. See, I had to think about this one for a bit. I'm sitting there thinking, what would be good at number 4 that couldn't be at 3 or 1, 2, or 3, and because it has too many sequels to it, I'm going with Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, the first one or the whole series?
No, the whole franchise.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you put that in a whole. And how much money that they made throughout that whole ordeal, and on top of that, knowing who they may be bringing back for 10 and 11. And I found that out over the weekend. Spoiler alert: Brian's back.
You didn't know that until just this weekend?
No, this weekend I found out that they were bringing
His brother's back.
Well, yeah, but they didn't actually release it until Christmas Day that Brian was back.
They already showed that he was
already
coming
said that
back
they were
at
going
the
to
end
bring
of
him
the
back.
last one.
They didn't say when they were going to, if it was going to be 10 or 11, but they're also bringing back Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, her character.
Which she came back, I
I
think.
don't know if it's going to be a flashback or what, or if they're going to bring it back.
With the Paul Walker character, and R.I.P. to Paul Walker, he did keep that franchise going, and his death has been sorely missed. His character has been sorely missed in that franchise, and I don't think that they're gonna have him even bringing his brothers back. It'll probably just be for a short time. It's not gonna be.
I really don't think it'll be for part 10. No. It'll be at the end of part 10, but I could see him doing it for all 11. Just so his daughter gets some more money out of the royalties.
Well, she's gonna get that no matter what.
Right. Well,
because Vin Diesel has set it up that way.
Well, yeah, it's always going to be his brother, and that's his, niece. And,
right. No, I don't think he's gonna be I don't think they're gonna do that. They retired Brian's character, and he'll be. And with the movies, if he comes back in 10 or 11, it's gonna be just for a short time. Because if you bring back that character and have him in the whole movie, then why did you kill him off?
Well, they never killed him off. They just retired him.
They retired him. Then why would you want to bring him back? When you did
if you bring him back, so far they brought everybody else back that they've killed off, just about.
Well, Han was never dead.
Oh no, technically he was supposed to be in 3.
Yes, but Han.
But we actually never seen him die. You're right.
Yeah, we find out that he survived in 9, but for them to retire a character, and they never said they wouldn't do cameos. Well, yeah, but Letty survived too.
Right. Again, but
they just made it look like she died.
Exactly. But look at Gal Gadot. Look at her character. She fell off with them going high speeds. There's no way that
Yeah,
she's back.
and they could bring her back just as flashbacks.
Well, I said, well, if you're gonna bring her back, you might as well bring her back as like a sister or a twin or something like that. That I mean, that would
And
work.
I think that's what they're probably gonna
That's what
do.
I want them to do, but
But yeah, no,
we'll
I
find out.
don't see
We'll
them.
find out in a few months.
I don't see them doing pimping out Brian O'Connor, and plus Vin Diesel would get so much flack from the fans that no. They retired that character. He'll be in there for a brief cameo and that'll be it.
I wish that they would have brought him back instead of killing him off. And hold on, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
7.
5. No. The fifth one. The guy that saves what the hell's his name?
Oh, Vince.
Yeah,
Yeah, from the first one.
right. I wish that they would have let his character evolve a little bit more than what they did, instead of having him save the sister, and then after that he pretty much just dies. And they found out
because
that
he
he had a
redeemed
son.
himself. He died because he wanted to redeem himself in the eyes of
Right.
the
Well,
family.
he did redeem himself, but no, I wish that they would have gave him a little bit more. At least have him until 6 and then kill him off.
And plus, he didn't want to get back into that lifestyle.
Quite honestly, I want him to kill off the Rock's character.
He don't care about that.
No,
honestly,
no,
they made such a big deal out of that feud, and Vin Diesel don't care.
I think that it would be great, but
But like I said, once Paul Walker died, I think it pretty much took out a lot, because now it was all on Vin to keep.
I mean, every time I see that freaking the ending to that movie, it just
I cried.
Yeah, it gets to you, especially knowing that the fact that he wasn't alive to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, what they did when he said, "Hey, you forgot to say goodbye," and when Vin Diesel said, "No matter where you are, you'll always be my brother."
Right.
It was like, that's when you know that.
Yeah, I had to go
to a big family.
I had to go to the theater just to see that movie.
Oh, I did too.
I didn't go to. I haven't went to see all of them. I'll probably go. Or I did go for 9, 8. After 7, 8, 9, I went to those. 10, I probably will go to the theater to see, and 11, because I've seen all of them, I might as well finish it all out.
Yeah. Well, like I told Alyssa, I said, I don't care what movies come out before March. March is the month I want to see one movie, and Mark knows that movie.
Yeah, it's Scream.
Yep.
But we're not talking about that one anymore. Okay. Now we're 3 to you.
Okay. Number 3, it's an invasion movie again, but it's Chuck Norris in Invasion USA. Invasion USA has to do with Chuck Norris's character being hunted by a person that he tried to kill, but then he let him go thinking, well, I'll never hear from this guy again. Well, then that guy hunts him down. Well, then Chuck Norris comes out of retirement and has to save USA. And the bad guys in that movie are just freaking ruthless. And I mean, it got to me at the part where he saves the kids on the school bus, but at the fairgrounds, he couldn't get there in time. And when one of the government people is bitching him out, he's like, I told you this was going to happen, but you wouldn't listen to me. You forced me kind of into retirement because you thought this guy wasn't coming back. And then he pretty much sets a trap for the main asshole in that movie, and it was really good. I would say that was probably one of Chuck Norris's better films.
My number 3. Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah. action science fiction. That's a good one.
And people might bitch and complain because, they're allowed to, that I didn't have it up there higher than 3. And
In the
that's
top
because,
30.
well, my taste is different than yours.
Yep.
But you can't go wrong with the original trilogy, first off.
Oh, the original was the only trilogy that should have ever been.
Now, episodes 1, 2, and 3, I didn't like 1 at all. 2 and 3, I liked them better.
Yeah.
Now, the last 3, I liked oh hell, what the hell is the name of it?
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, The Force Awakens. I like
Yeah.
that one. I did like it. I thought that they had a good story premise to go on.
Yeah.
And then it switched, and then the next one, I was like, okay, I can deal with it. The third one, well, I just didn't like that they. Why does everybody have to bring somebody back from the dead?
Well,
You know,
Luke wasn't dead. He was just
no,
in hiding.
no. He was in the second to last one. Is when he died.
Well, yeah, I know.
In the last one, though, Palpatine. Why did they have to bring him back? Out of all of them.
Because Rey was related to him. But when they named the movie,
it's Rey's grandfather.
Yeah, when they named the movie The Last Skywalker, I hate to break it to all the people, and they'll probably shit on me for it, but I kind of figured what they're gonna do with Rey's character.
There was
so blatantly obvious.
Did you know that there was a rumor going around that Palpatine was Darth Vader's father? And they debunked it. I just read that today. They debunked it.
That's so stupid. Yeah, no. Yeah. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with. Oof. Well, I'll go a 2-parter with this one too. Highlander. The Highlander film series was pretty good too. The second movie was kind of really shot to shit, but then when they released the director's cut or the Renegade version, really made sense. The third one where he has to face off against Mario Van Peebles' character, who's like a sorcerer and all that. And then, of course, the fourth one, Endgame, where it's kind of like hey, we have a TV series and we have Duncan MacLeod now. We need Connor to somehow get out of the picture. And it was a shitty way to kill off Connor MacLeod's character, but Duncan had to do it in order to beat Kel. Because Kel was the toughest immortal in that movie. And then my second pick for number 2, which Mark's probably going to roll his eyes, but and if it weren't for a tragedy, we probably would have had it become more of a franchise than what it was, but The Crow.
I knew as soon as you said tragedy, I knew where you're going.
And
no, I'll actually agree with you. I do like it there. Just knowing what it was all about, knowing that he was an upcoming actor alone, and not only that, but Bruce Lee's son. And
I mean, yeah, Brandon Lee,
that character, just to have him play that character alone.
Yeah,
it's an iconic character. Nobody's going to ever do the job that Brandon Lee did.
Well, that's like with the upcoming Crow movie now with Bill Skarsgård. It's just like, in the Crow comic books, they have more than one.
I agree with you. I've been agreeing with you for a while. I don't think that they should be bringing.
I don't think it should be Eric Draven. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree with you 100%. At first, when we first started talking about it, I was like, no. And then after a while, I was like, shit. Yeah, I agree with you.
And, people can shit on my opinion of this, but you know what? I don't care what people say. As soon as this new Crow movie got traction and was being filmed, think of the lives that are hurting now. Brandon Lee's widow. Yes, he wasn't married. He was going to get married after it, but at the same time, look at what happened to her life. Look at what happened to the guy who plays, I think it's Top Dollar in that movie. No, Fun Boy. Look what happened to that actor. He couldn't live with himself anymore.
And you ever look up to see what happened to his Brandon Lee's girlfriend?
She got remarried and then divorced, but now her Brandon Lee's family has taken her in.
And because it's once family, always family. Normally that's how it works.
Well, they never stopped treating her like family. And on Brandon Lee's sister's podcast, she even said that, you know, it's sad that every time a Crow movie appears, they always have to be asked all the questions of, well, how did you feel and all that. And like Shannon told Brandon Lee's widow that, you know, don't do any of these. Let us do it. Let us carry that burden. And so the one part of that that makes me sad the most is that when Fun Boy, the actor that played him, did an interview later in it before he passed away, was like, yeah, I have a girlfriend that runs a grocery store, and every time I walk by the playground, I see Brandon Lee's widow, and I see her playing with a little girl, and that should be Brandon's little girl. And it really got to me because this guy shouldn't have blamed himself. It wasn't his fault. You know, you're there to do a job. You're there to do an act, and then, of course, they give you a gun that they haven't properly checked, and then you're supposed to aim at a person, which they shouldn't do that.
Oh, and they're trying to change all the rules to where there is no live or any type of ammo. You have to add it after the fact.
Well, they easily could. I mean, but they're doing that now because of the whole fucking Baldwin bullshit.
Right. It should have been done a long time ago before that.
Yeah. And, you know, Brandon Lee was a up and coming actor. He was a known actor, but The Crow, had he not died, was going to be his swan song.
He had 5 movies,
Yep.
6 movies underneath him
Yep.
before he died. And he was in the midst of doing another one. He was contracted to another one that he never got to do.
Rapid Fire 2 was going to be his next one.
But he got money, but his family got the money for that.
Mm-hmm. And had Brandon Lee lived and not had his accident, every movie that Crow movie they made, he would be in it, but he'd be passing it on and being kind of like a mentor to a new Crow each movie.
Yep.
And I like the second one. I think that one's City of Angels. That was probably the only sequel out of that whole franchise that was any good. But at the same time, it was a cash grab. This movie's a cash grab that's coming up. I don't care what anyone says. And, you know, hopefully Brandon and his family can find peace, because it's sickening that every time a Crow movie comes up, they have to be asked about his tragedy. He's more than that. Just like his dad. His dad was more than when he mysteriously died. You know, Brandon Lee was one of those guys, like, I would say he was like Paul Walker before Paul Walker. He loved humanity. He saw the good in everyone. He wanted to make the world a better place. And, you know, you lose, the old saying goes, you lose people like that because the world isn't ready for people like that. That want to say, hey, you know, this is my philosophy, like, be like water, like his dad said, you know, and all that. But yeah, Brandon Lee and the world, when the world lost Brandon Lee, that was a dark day. And same thing with Paul Walker, and same thing with a lot of people that the world loses that have that much of an impact on it. Your number 2, Mark. Sorry about my rant.
My number 2 is it's a trilogy. It's a two trilogies actually, and Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
It's nonstop action to me. My wife sat me down. Well, we started watching them when the kids were younger, and that was when they only had like two of them out,
Yeah.
and I didn't get my attention all that well.
Yeah.
But then she sat me down and said, "Okay, you're watching them with me." All right. Well, she did that with Harry Potter too, but that's a different story. Anyway, she sat me down, watched them, and then when The Hobbit come out, I wasn't interested in The Hobbit a whole lot. And then one day I seen the second Hobbit. I seen the dragon, or no, it's the third one, the second one, so one idea. Anyways, I seen the dragon. I was like, oh, cool, man. I got to see that. She goes, now you got to wait until they all come out. And I was like, well, shit. Okay, why not?
I just don't like what they did with the Amazon store, the TV show.
I have not watched it yet.
Don't. It's.
I will be watching it. I will be watching it because
bullshit.
of the fact that it's my wife will. She wants to watch it, so I'll watch it with her. Just like I sit there and she watches that. I watch. It'll be the House of the Dragon.
I won't watch it because they pretty much shit on Tolkien's views on what Lord of the Rings, how he wrote it, and yeah,
A lot of people. Well,
my time.
anytime that they do a series, they never do the series any justice.
Well, no, because nowadays it has to be
the only series that I've ever seen that come from a book, or not a book, sorry, that come from other. And that one did come from a book. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But that came from anything else, that was made into a series or a movie into the series is Chucky.
Yeah.
Because you had the original people involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I can't wait to see,
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
See how well that works.
But now we're on to number one. Finally, number uno. My number one, and Mark's gonna laugh at this one. Lethal Weapon series. I love Die Hard. There's a lot of great action movies out there, but the Lethal Weapon series as a whole is it's a good show.
You're gonna love my number one then.
And I think it would have been stupid in Lethal Weapon 2 if they would have went with the original ending. I think it would have been kind of stupid.
Killed Riggs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad, especially how they ended it right there. He didn't go anywhere. They didn't say what happened or anything until the third one, and then it was like, wow. But knowing how his wife died, and at least he got revenge on the person, that was the best part.
They show Riggs surviving in 2. They got rid of the original ending.
Oh, they changed it?
Yeah, they changed it before it actually went into theaters.
I've seen the alternate ending then where it just stopped right there. It panned up, and that's where it ended. Yeah. It never showed him surviving.
But in the original movie, before they put it out to theaters, he originally was supposed to die. He was supposed to die from his wounds because the guy who says diplomatic immunity kills him. And that was going to be the end of the character. And then supposedly Lethal Weapon 3 was going to kill off Murtaugh because he felt guilty for what happened to Riggs in the last one. And yeah.
Yeah, I still think it's funny. Your diplomatic immunity has been revoked.
Yeah. Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
Yeah.
I love when Peter says that to Stewie.
Yeah, you watch a lot of Family Guy too, huh?
I love Family Guy.
Yeah, well, if it ain't something, it's normally that's what's on my TV at home.
That and American Dad. American Dad,
I have not got to catch up on the newer seasons.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm watching them on Hulu right now.
I haven't. That's what I'm probably going to end up doing.
So, yeah, that's my number one, Mark.
You said my number one. Die Hard. I could put 100 or a million different ones at number one.
Yeah.
But as a series in whole, at least it made sense.
The first three were the best.
I don't like it when, his son's all grown up. That's the last one. I don't like it when he's all growing up and stuff, and then, only calling him John.
Or the daughter. I didn't like when she was all grown up either.
Right. Well, I could deal with some of it, but all in all, I mean, Bruce Willis is a damn good actor.
Yeah.
He's going to be always one of my iconics when it comes to action. Now, if it wasn't for him saying, him and Samuel L. Jackson in part 3, wasn't it? Yeah, that one was interesting. Wasn't it 3?
What?
No, 2.
What?
Samuel L. Jackson. Was he in?
No,
2?
he was in third one. He was in Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third one. The second one was in the airport.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because everybody kept. Again, that was another Christmas one.
Yep.
But yeah, I liked how he. I liked the third one, especially when he had to go into, what was it?
Harlem.
Yeah, Harlem, and have that sign on, and oh my God.
I love when he's like, "Hey Zeus, how are you doing? My name is Zeus. Do I look like I'm Puerto Rican to you?"
Yeah.
Zeus, like the father of Apollo, don't mess with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. But yeah, I mean, Die Hard, and it's sad what's happened, that Bruce Willis has had to retire due to his diagnosis with, I can never say the name, but it starts as a hearing thing and it can mess with his speech and all that. And Sylvester Stallone has recently come out and saying that it's
getting bad.
It's getting bad. It's getting really worse. So
it's almost like, people should be looking into that too, instead of.
Well, they always wait for actors or famous people to do this. Look at Parkinson's. Yeah, Muhammad Ali had it, but everyone looks at Parkinson's as Michael J. Fox's thing because he's put out there so much.
Yeah, well, so did Muhammad Ali. Just they didn't force it like all the rest of Hollywood would for. And
well, Michael J. Fox no, Muhammad Ali really didn't. He didn't do. He announced that he had it, but he didn't do as much as like Michael J. Fox did.
He did towards the end.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they gave him the foundation, yeah. But Michael J. Fox, he's looking pretty rough, but still a great actor.
They got a cartoon coming out for Back to the Future.
Really? I didn't hear
that. It's going to have Doc in it.
Well,
and it's going to have the same people voicing them.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. An animated Biff. That's going to be badass. I can't wait for that.
I can't wait to see how this all turns out. But again, it's still in the phase of we don't know when it's going to be here.
Yeah.
I still want to know when the Mogwai is supposed to be out. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The prequel.
Yep. It was supposed to be out last year, and then I guess this year. No, it can't be this year. No, next year.
Next year. But yeah, action movies and martial arts movies had a lot of great actors in them. Bruce Willis, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, a lot of them. Really great actors.
You can keep going down the line so much that you never know what you're going to get when it comes to a movie. Anything can actually be an action movie if you think about it.
Oh,
as long as there's some type of action in it.
Yep.
If we would have went with straight karate movies or martial art movies, it would have probably been, for me, I would have probably been naming off like Nowhere to Run. I would have been naming off Double Trouble.
Well,
but more so for Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now,
Yeah.
I won't watch a Steven Skull movie. I can't stand the man.
Yeah, he's a jackass nowadays.
But I don't like somebody to pretend like they're somebody that they're not.
You know, the thing that pisses me off the most is there's an underrated, very underrated martial artist who also was around the time of Seagal, Van Damme, by the name of Jeff Speakman. And his style of martial arts was Kempo. And I, if you could ever go into a time machine and say, okay, which one should we screw over? I would say Steven Seagal. I mean, Steven Seagal had a good run in the early part of the
But
whole career.
we all
But
know why that they screwed him over and went
Yeah.
with Seagal.
yeah.
But
Well, you got to realize in the 90s you had Jackie Chan. You
who's
had
still doing it to this day, doing his
Yeah.
own stunts.
you had well, yeah, because he came up in that style. That's the thing about Hong Kong. And you know what? Actually, Thursday we were doing the thing with Kyle, right?
Friday.
Friday we will be on Kyle Flet's Return of the Living Flet podcast.
Come join us if you
Yeah,
dare.
come join us. We'll give you the full details when I
But-
can't remember what time it is.
But we do have a really good announcement, though. And I'd like Steven to announce it for January 10th. Who are we going to have on our show?
Amber.
No, that's the 4th, or 5th. 10th.
Tom
did you-
McLaughlin?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, guys, and sorry if Tom McLaughlin looks back on this and watches this when we put it on the YouTube channel.
I pray to God he don't.
I pray to God he doesn't either, but I forgot. We've been scheduling so many people out that it's just like my mind.
I'm trying to schedule at least once a week. Try to have somebody scheduled or every other week now.
And
That way that we can space it out a little bit more and just have 1 or 2 a week. Just doing, chatting about something.
And this Thursday, if me and Mark are up to it, we want to kind of take a break from just doing straight horror, and we want to broaden our horizons a bit. So if we do one this Thursday, and this is a big if, so don't come after us if we don't do one on Thursday, but we possibly might be talking about our top 10 favorite sports movies or sports teams.
I was thinking, I like your idea. I do, but can I add to it?
Go ahead.
How about we go with top 10 greatest franchises?
Ooh.
All sports.
Ooh. Okay. I like that.
And it could be, we're talking about franchises. We're not talking about college teams. Otherwise, mine would be all Michigan. And
I thought you were going to go with top 10 favorite players. That one would be.
Well, that one, see, that's a debate we've already had. We said that, we've talked about this. We'd have to do it per decade.
Yeah.
I don't want to go of all time. And
No.
you said the same thing because you can't go of all time. You have
Every
to go per decade.
Every time a quarterback retires, they're labeled the greatest of all time. When Peyton retired, they did that. When Tom Brady's retiring, they're going to do that.
Yeah, but
When
he is the
Patrick
greatest of all
Mahomes-
time.
No.
But
Yeah, I
see,
don't know
I
about
can
that.
say that. I can say that being a Michigan man, I can say that. But to somebody else, he's a dirtbag, whiny ass, stealing or whatever. I've heard a lot of different things. So,
But yes, more
And then
details will come if we
we'll
do
go
one
after-
on Thursday.
we'll figure out the parameters of it afterwards and stuff.
Yep. Thank you so very much for joining us through this
God awful one.
god awful episode that we did. We love the support that you, the fans, and even our supporters that have supported us since day one. We love it. Please keep up with it. I know sometimes we lay duds, but you know what? We're trying the best we can. We're learning on the job,
I'm gonna
and we
put some.
couldn't do it without our loyal fans, our audience.
I'm gonna put some more pictures up of Amber, so everybody can see some more of her stuff.
We can talk about that off, but
Well, I want
and
to
also we want to thank the Deluxe Edition Network. We want to thank Kyle Flett. We want to thank Peter Anthony. We want to thank Jason Brooks, Darcy DeMoss, Gene, who was recently on our show. Sorry, Gene, I still can't pronounce your last name, so I'll just say Gene. And we also have to thank everyone that's made us who we are today, and hopefully y'all come back next time. So, from me, Steven Jarvis, and from Mark Bensett, we will just want to say thank you.
Don't forget
Luca.
Luca says bye.
We want to say not bye. This isn't goodbye, but it's see you later, and we'll hopefully see you either Thursday or Friday. Well, Friday we're going to be on Kyle's show.
We'll be for sure Friday.
Yeah. Oh man!
Join us on Return of the Living Fletch.
Flat.
Sorry, Fletch. Well, shit. Sorry, Kyle. With Kyle, and I forgot what we were talking about there.
And we also want to have a shout out to the podcast of the month for the month of December, the 10-cent beer night podcast. They're amazing.
That's what I forgot last time. The night.
Yeah. They're all amazing people. People that are a part of this network are very, very helpful, truly amazing.
Hopefully we can have a few of those on podcasts too.
Well, yeah. But like I said, this isn't goodbye. This is we'll see you later. Catch us on Thursday. If we're not doing an episode Thursday, catch us over at the Return of the Living Flet on Friday, and you'll hear our rambling there. I feel bad for Kyle because then he has to kind of edit us out of it a little bit, because if it was just us talking here, it's incoherent. It's like two drunk people that can't figure out a common sentence.
I could show you a drunk person, but I don't think you'd want them. Anyways, we want to thank you very much for watching us make fools out of ourselves and listening to us. I'd like to, I'd like to thank the ones that help us all, and they know who they are. But I thank my wife for putting up with me. And the New Year's is right around the corner, and we got some good guests coming up.
Yep.
Soon, hopefully, we'll be able to announce more guests.
Yep. And also, if you haven't yet, go on our YouTube channel, Steven Jarvis and Friends Podcast. Subscribe, like, and if you want to, comment. We enjoy people that say, hey, we like your stuff, or hey, we think you should be doing this. We take it all as positive because we're still learning.
Just don't tell us that we suck, because that'll hurt.
Mark already knows that.
That'll hurt Lucas' feelings.
I mean, it's a cat. It's got 9 lives.
Hey, shh. Be nice.
But as we have said, thank you all for the amazing love and support on Buzzsprout. You can also listen to us on there on Spotify, or you can even go on, I think, the Deluxe Edition Network and listen to us on there. You can sub on there. Yep. We're almost to 500 downloads on Buzzsprout on that one. Thank you very much for that. It's been a long time coming. So we'll see you later. And hopefully you have had a wonderful Merry Christmas and have a wonderful Happy New Year. And stay safe.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.